Hello and welcome. My name is Parisa Shelton, and today we are going to talk about tips to turn off, tune in, and take command of your technology. Which I'm trying to figure out my technology right now as we speak. I'm going to do a little screen share. Okay, so this whole presentation came about because of our work with Santa Clara County Employee Wellness Department. They asked us to go to one of the local hospitals and give the staff tips to pretty much get off their phones. I guess a lot of the employers were noticing the employees spending too much time on their phone. And this presentation will highlight what exactly is going on and why we feel so compelled to constantly pull the phone out. And it's really by design. Okay, so our goals for today is for you to gain awareness that your smartphone has been and keeps being designed to grab and keep your attention. And then to gain awareness that your attention and your time is like currency, hence the phrase, spending time. And then lastly, we hope to give you tools to empower you to take charge of your phone and your life so that you don't feel like you always have to be on the phone. Okay? Okay, so brain hacking. This is an actual thing that the programmers of cell phones and computer devices really don't want us to know. And that is that they are programming, they call it a race to the bottom of the brain stem. They're starting to, well, we now have a great understanding of where habits and addictions lie in the brain, and there are specific coding going on in order to activate those areas of the brain. And in the description of this video, I'll also include some links because this whole presentation is prompted by a 60 minutes segment on brain hacking. And it's a real thing, people. They're getting into our minds and programming the masses. And, you know, one of the programmers argue that how can you ask content creators not to be good at what they do, because obviously they want their content to be seen. But you know, from a user standpoint, it definitely feels like a manipulation, and it doesn't feel organic. Like back in the day before cell phones existed, yeah, teenagers would spend some time on the phone, but that phone didn't have 1,000 engineers on the other end of it, updating it and programming it so that they would spend even more and more and more time on the phone. This is like a huge social experiment that no one really knows what the outcome is going to be. And it's quite interesting and a little bit scary, if you ask me. Okay, we all agree that there is a mind-body connection. You know, what we think about, we bring about, and this obsession with our phones and our computers is going to take a toll on our body. And the other thing is this heart-mind connection. You know, for thousands of years in Chinese medicine, we've been saying that the consciousness lies in the heart. You know, for a long time in Western medicine, the frontal cortex was thought to be where the consciousness or the thinking mind resides. But now Western science is starting to catch up, and we're seeing studies that show electromagnetic waves in the heart. And in fact, they did some MRIs testing of people hugging. And we saw that when you give a genuine hug, that the heart and the chest actually move closer together. So, you know, our hearts are constantly talking to us, and it's important to take time to tap in. What is your heart telling you? And does it really want to be on the phone day in and day out? Your time and attention is like currency, right? What you spend your time on, you become. So it's important to be aware, and this whole presentation and talk is really ultimately about expanding awareness. What are you spending your time on? Are you being conscious and aware of your thoughts and your thinking? It's a deep philosophical question, and if you think about, you know, you spend each moment, you can't get that moment back. So how can we really make the most of our time here? Some might argue Facebook isn't necessarily the ideal way. And the irony of this whole thing is that you're probably watching this video either on your phone or your computer, but I urge you to get out, to really spend quality time, build solid relationships, be aware, meditate, take time for yourself. Okay, now here's where the fun begins, because we actually learn how some tips and tools, like now we know, so what do we do? So pull out your cell phone. I'll give you a minute. Mine is right here. And go, here it is. Go to the settings, let's see, settings, the settings portion of your phone. Can you see that, settings? And then what you're gonna do is go to notifications. Notifications. And you see they kind of bury it. So there's an app here on my phone, an app section, and I've turned off all my notifications after doing some research and studying. Like, the notifications is the first layer of how to grab your attention. And then scroll down and become aware of the apps that are running on your phone, and anything that is constantly pinging you and distracting you from what you're doing and taking you out of the moment. Disable that notification. It gives you more power. It puts you back in control of your phone and your technology. The other tip here is when you are doing something that requires concentration, for example, driving, spending time with your loved ones, you know, writing or reading, creating, anything in the creative realm, use the airplane mode. Or say you have kids and, you know, you want to know if the kid calls you or someone important. Then there's the do not disturb feature, and through that do not disturb feature, you can highlight a few important numbers that, even though do not disturb is turned on, that you'll be able to get that phone call or text if that person comes through. But I really urge you to turn the phone off when you're in your relaxation or your off mode. It's not really helping you relax more. Okay, so this is another one, another tip, and that is to keep track of your usage. Can you see that little note here? I'm gonna move my screen. Keep track of your usage. And we did this practice. It's kind of like going on a diet. You know, if you want to lose weight, one of the best ways of doing that is to keep track of your food. And so what we did is we took 3x5 cards and put it, you know, a double-sided tape on the back of the smartphone. Every time I looked at my phone, I would write down the time. And let's see what happened. And I suggest that you do the same. Okay, so here it is, my daily use. You can see that I'm starting here at all the way at 8:10 in the morning and going down to 9:43 right before bed. When you add it up, it's almost an hour. And this is not like a consecutive hour. It's broken up. So I can see why I'm so distracted all the time, because I'm constantly looking at the phone. And then the other thing is kind of like a diet. Like, I knew I was going to write it down. So you can see here in the bottom corner of the screen, times that I thought of picking up the phone, but I didn't. 8 times throughout the day. You know, work day is 8 hours. So they plant that seed in the back of your mind. It's like the notification is going off. And that's what we mean by saying it's a race to the bottom of the brainstem, because they're not only programming the phone, but they're programming our behavior. And the first step to breaking a habit or an addiction is awareness. So start keeping track of your usage and of the urge to constantly be on your phone and check the phone. You know, in that 60-minute clip, they say the average person checks their phone every 15 minutes. That's way too often, in my opinion. The other thing I wanted to emphasize too here is that I'm not saying that technology is bad. You know, the phone itself is neither good or bad. It's a tool. It's a communication device. I think that what has happened is that we've gone a little bit over too far, and we're just, if you go to a public place, like I was noticing at a restaurant the other night, 80% of the patrons in the restaurant were looking down at their phone rather than paying attention to what was going on around them. In my opinion, that's the problem. So meditation is a tool to expand your awareness and to become conscious of the thoughts and the feelings inside your body. If you're watching this on YouTube, then you're on our channel, Shelton Qigong, and there's a lot of different practices, meditation, and gentle movements that you can do in order to expand your awareness, to meditate. And obviously when you do that, you know, sometimes nice music is helpful to get yourself in the zone. But, you know, use the do not disturb feature, turn airplane mode on, because obviously if you're in the zone and your phone rings, that's going to pull you out of the moment. That's another thing that obviously the phone ringing is one of the prime examples that pulls us out of what we're doing. So meditate. And we can even just take a conscious breath here by grounding down into the feet and getting tall through the top of the head. Take a long, slow inhale through the nose and a deep exhale out through the mouth. Do that again. Inhale, long and slow. This time, hold the breath. And then exhale, releasing any tension or tightness. One more time. Inhale. Pause and create space between each breath. And exhale, pause and create space between each thought. And then gently open the eyes, blink the eyelashes, coming back into the room. How do you feel? Comment below. Okay, well, that's a wrap up. This short little video hopefully gave you some tips to turn off and tune in and really take control of your technology in your life. Remember, turning off notifications is a big deal. Do not disturb, airplane mode. Keep track. Spend a day, just one day. Go on a cell phone diet and see how it feels, and really notice and pay attention to your connection to your technology and your phone. For more tools and tips, you can go to our website, Shelton Qigong. Check us out on social media. We just published our second edition of Qigong for Self-Refinement, and hope to see you soon.